On August 5, 1945, President Harry Truman of the United States made the critical decision to release the first ever atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. President Truman had warned the Japanese of the United States' atomic capabilities a few months prior, but the resilient Japanese refused to surrender. It was the decision by President Truman to drop the atomic bomb on Hiroshima the next day that helped push the Japanese over the edge and most importantly end the Second World War. Truman uses ethos, pathos, and logos to explain why he made that certain decision.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT. The Japanese began the war from the air at Pearl Harbor. They have been repaid many-fold, and the end is not yet.
That bomb had more power than 20,000 tons of TNT is a prime example of logos used in his announcement. He goes on to say that the bomb had more than 2,000 times the blast power of the biggest bomb that had ever been previously used in the history of warfare. President Truman revisits the topic of how powerful the bomb is to emphasize the power of the U.S. Armed Forces. Another quote from Truman's announcement will be, "The Japanese began the war from the air at Pearl Harbor. They have been repaid many-fold, and the end is not yet." With this statement, President Truman revisits the event that became a catalyst for American involvement in World War II. This becomes an example of pathos because the war was a great topic of emotion for many Americans. After the 4 long years of war, with plenty of American deaths, this supports Truman's decision to release the atomic bomb because so many American lives would have been endangered if invasion had been the option.
We have spent more than $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and we have won. But the greatest marvel is not the size of the enterprise, its secrecy, or its cost, but the achievement of scientific brains in making it work.
As Truman states, we have spent $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and won. This again engages the Americans emotionally with the idea of success and saying that we, as a nation, won over the Japanese. From these clips, Truman's tone when addressing the nation comes off as very stern and serious, but is also sympathetic with the American people because of the experience of such a dark event and the possibility of another bombing if Japan still refuses to comply. Another example from Truman's speech that wasn't recorded. I shall make further recommendations to the Congress as to how atomic power can become a powerful and forceful influence towards the maintenance of world peace. Truman uses more figurative language to show his intentions on how he will handle atomic power and the positive capabilities that the atomic bomb withholds, which will help enforce world peace. Although some claim that President Truman's decision on releasing the atomic bomb on Japan was barbaric and unnecessary, the American president was only doing what he and his advisors thought was the best option to protect American lives and bring the prolonged World War to a quicker conclusion.